Hello, students. This is part 3 of chapter 3, Fibers to Fabrics. This video will include the following topics: sericulture, history of sericulture, life cycle of silkworm, processing of silk, and uses of silk. Let's get started. This image is of silkworm insect which is used to produce silk. These insects are reared and cultured to produce silk. What is silk? Silk fiber is obtained from the cocoons of silkworm or silk moth. This silk moth lives on the leaves of mulberry plants. You all might be aware of silk fabric. Silk fabric is used to make beautiful silk saris. Now understand this. There are different types of silkworm. Their varieties are different. Different varieties of silkworm produces different types of silk. The types of silk may differ in the terms of their luster, that means shine, or texture. Some common varieties of silk that are found in India are Tassar silk, Moga silk, Kosa silk. They all are produced by different types of silk moth or silkworm. Mulberry silk is the most common silk which is obtained from a silk moth which lives on mulberry plants. Now, what is sericulture? Sericulture is the term given to rearing of silkworms for obtaining silk. This is known as sericulture. This image is of silk moth. This is an adult silk moth, male and female. The first picture we saw was a image of silkworm or the caterpillar of this adult silk moth. Now let us have a look on history of silk. Silk was discovered in China in around 3500 BC. The story associated with the discovery of silk, which is given in your textbook. I want you to read that story and write it in your own words in your notebook. Because silk was very expensive, it became a prized possession and it was only used by emperors. Later on, silk trade started and it went to all over the world. As per historians, silk was also produced in India also. Proof of use of silk during the Indus Valley civilization has also been found. Now let us learn the life cycle of silkworm. There are 4 stages in the life cycle of silk moth: egg, larva, pupa and adult. The female silk moth lays egg on the leaves of mulberry tree. After about 14 days, the eggs are hatched into larva, also known as the caterpillar or the silkworm. At this stage, the larva feeds on the mulberry leaves. It feeds day and night and it becomes very large in size. It grows enormously and grows very large in size. At this stage, it grows into pupa. The caterpillar secretes fibers made of protein and weaves the fiber completely around itself. That means the caterpillar, when it is grown fully after feeding the mulberry leaves day and night, when it is grown fully as a caterpillar, now it converts into pupa stage. This caterpillar now secretes a fiber which is made of protein from its mouth and weaves the fiber around itself completely. This stage is known as pupa stage and this covering is known as cocoon. It is this cocoon only which is used for rearing silk, because the fibers which is used to make cocoon is used to obtain silk, and the pupa lives in the cocoon for some time, and after coming out of the cocoon it again grows in adult silk moth, which can be male or female. So this is the life cycle of silkworm. This you need to understand completely. Now there is a homework for you. Now draw this life cycle of silkworm in your notebooks. Diagram is given in the textbook. Let's quickly revise the life cycle of a silkworm. The adult silk moth, female silk moth, lays egg on the leaves of mulberry tree. The egg develop in silkworm or silk larva, which feeds on mulberry leaves and grows. It now develops a silk thread around itself, and this stage is known as cocoon. And after development, it is grown in adult silk moth. Now you know that the stage which is used to obtain silk fiber is the cocoon stage. This is an image of mulberry tree. You might be familiar with it. It is known as shahdud in Hindi. Now let us learn about the processing of silk. The processing of silk includes rearing of silkworms, reeling, dyeing, and then spinning and weaving into the silk fabric. Let us learn these steps one by one. So, the very first step of silk processing is rearing of silkworm. So, in the beginning, the female silk moth lays hundreds of eggs. These eggs are stored over a clean paper or a piece of cloth. These eggs are then sold to the silkworm farmers, where the silkworm farmers keep the eggs under accurate temperature and humidity at a clean place. They are warmed to appropriate temperature to hatch eggs to produce larva or caterpillar. This process is done when the mulberry trees have fresh crops of leaf. The caterpillar eats these mulberry leaves day and night and grows in size. This we have already discussed in the previous lecture. Bamboo trays are used to keep these caterpillar, and some freshly chopped mulberry leaves are also kept in the tray for the caterpillars to feed upon. After 30-40 days, the caterpillar stops eating the leaves and then moves inside the small chambers in the bamboo trays to spin cocoons. So, the cocoons are produced by the secretion of protein from the salivary glands of the larva, and small racks are also given in the tray so that the cocoon gets attached to the racks for the support. Silk moth are now developed inside the cocoons. Cocoons get hardened because of the exposure to the air. Now have a look on the image of rearing of silkworm. You can also see the bamboo tray in the middle. The next step is reeling of silk. As we know, these cocoons are used to obtain silk thread. These cocoons are collected and kept in sunlight or boiled or exposed to heat so that the silk fibers get separate out. This process of getting silk thread from cocoon to use it as a silk fabric is known as reeling of silk. Reeling of silk is carried out by special machines. These machines unwind the fibers of silk or threads from the cocoon. Silk fibers are then converted in silk to make different kind of silk fabric like silk saris by the weavers. This image describes the process. In the first image, you can see the cocoons being boiled, and next, you can see the silk fibers which is weaved, and then the final product, as you all know, is the silk. The next process is dyeing, spinning, and weaving. As you know, the silk fibers obtained are colorless. They are then dyed in different beautiful colors, and then they are spinned into threads and then woven into different types of silk cloth, that is the silk fiber. This image is showing the spinning and weaving of silk thread to form silk fabric. Now the last part, uses of silk. So Silk is a costly fabric because there is a lot of procedure involved to make silk, and millions and trillions of cocoons are used to produce silk fabric. So it is definitely a costly fabric, and it is used for weaving cloth, especially traditional Indian dresses like sari, kurta, shawl, and other wedding cloths. Because it is very shiny and it has very fine quality, it is lustrous, so it is always been prized for its luster and fine quality. The countries which produce silk on a large scale are China and then India. With this, we now complete this chapter. You all read this chapter from your textbook and complete the given assignments. Hope you like the video. Thanks for watching.